A lot of times I find God usually in the mornings. When the sun is just coming up, I find it a great blessing. And especially, I still find God walking through busy streets and going from class to class. So, for instance, I actually pulled out my Laudate app on my iPhone, and I started praying a prayer they had, and it was basically a general prayer for peace. So that helps me keep my mind at ease for, especially a busy day, and helps me focus as I go to class, and helps me remember, God is always with me throughout my whole day. And I also actually listen to praise and worship songs on my iPhone, on Pandora, and that actually helps me reflect as I'm on the bus or just walking. So specifically today, I actually this one song came up, and it was called One Desire by Hillsong, and basically it's basically says, all we really desire throughout the world is God. And some lyrics are, this is my cry, my one desire is to be where you are, Lord, now and forever. So even through my, what I want to, what I desire, being like graduating, being an engineer, and being like having a lot of friends and getting good grades, what I really desire in my heart is to be one with God. And being one with God wherever I am helps me to obtain those other things, and allow me to go through life with an open heart. So yeah, that's it.
So I usually like to pray when I drive, because sometimes being busy and stuff, sometimes I forget to pray in the morning. So when I'm a huge bulk of my day is like a commute or when I'm driving, and it's usually alone. So it's a good time to either pray the rosary or pray the chaplet for like 10 minutes, and or reflect on my day, or reflect on what could be this day. And also it's a time to ask God, I guess, for protection, especially because like driving can be dangerous sometimes. So God for protection, the angels for protection, and yeah.
One place that I find God in small places is my bedroom right before I go to bed. I just like to read a little bit of scripture and kind of meditate on it a little bit before I go to bed. I've started doing that this semester, and I found that it definitely works wonders in my life. I've just been more happy. Just reading the scripture and applying it to my life has kind of been good, because it gives me the new outlook on life, and I definitely can see it changing my life a little bit for the better, and so I'm happy I started doing it. Like, for instance, last night, I read this nice verse from Ephesians chapter 2. For by grace you have been saved through faith, and that not of yourselves. It is the gift of God, not as a result of works, so that no one may boast. And, for instance, I just kind of saw that, and, just thought, we all struggle in our lives, and, our relationship may grow distant with God every now and then, but, as long as we just keep faith, and realize that God's always going to be there for us, we're just going to have that relationship grow closer with Him. And, and then God's just gonna enter our lives as long as we let him, you know. It's just, you know, wonderful what God does for us, and, you know, he's always gonna be there for us, and as long as we let him, he'll be able to work those wonders in our life.
I think sometimes in our busy lives in college, it's so hard for us to find God. We have homework and we're stressing out, and our friends and our family activities, and it's hard to get caught up and you get lost in it so easily. And I think a place that I find God, which is so, I thought, strange the first time I experienced it, was on actually a Rutgers bus. And you wouldn't think that, because it's so, you're either standing and people are pushing you, or there's some smelly person next to you. Anyway, but you wouldn't think that in all the hustle and bustle when you're trying to go to class, or studying flashcards on the bus, or listening to music, going through Facebook on your phone, that you would find God there. But I found that if I just stop and in the silence of my heart pray to God in a place where I find myself so busy and so in worldly situations, that I actually see God the most. It's somewhere where I could just stop and be at peace, and no matter what's going on around me, I know that God is there in the silence of my heart. So I think that's a really beautiful place for me to see God, just to close my eyes and thank God for the day and all the people around me and all the things happening in their lives, just to pray for them, for the other people on the bus, and to pray to thank God for all he's given me. So I think that's a small place I find God in prayer.